guys, well it's Wednesday and I thought I'd film a what I eat in a day video today, something I've not done for such a long time. I was just saying to my friend at the weekend that I've really been enjoying cooking recently and kind of experimenting with it again. I went through a phase, well for probably a good like 6 months at least, where I just wasn't enjoying it that much, and I've kind of come to the conclusion that I think it also stems from feeling like I was at a place where I wasn't like progressing with fitness and my, well, realistically like my knee situation. And I'd kind of lost my love for that as well. So I was just sort of going through the motions with it, just making things that I would always make and not being very enthusiastic about it. I think I mentioned before that Ellie and I were ordering so much food on Deliveroo. Weekends we'd always order food. Not that there's any problem with that, but one thing is that that's not very good use of money, of course, but also it's just not necessarily the healthiest option. And even if you are ordering healthier things, quite often they'll be higher in salt, and then I'd get really bloated and retain water, and I just wasn't feeling like my best self. But I think since I've started making progress in the gym, which I think I spoke to you about like 2 videos ago, and with my rehab and my knee, I feel like it's really inspired my cooking again. And I know I've included probably more recipes than usual in my recent vlogs, but I've honestly just been really enjoying looking at what's in my fridge and being like, what am I gonna create from this? So I thought, considering I'm feeling a bit more back on track and like I'm heading in the right direction with nutrition and everything, I could also share with you guys the sort of things I've been making. It's actually Wednesday today and I had a little bit of a later start, really annoyingly, because it just doesn't set me up well for the day. I don't think when I get up sort of past, I would say like past 7:30, I don't feel like I'm my most productive self. I'm a morning person, like my brain functions really well in the morning. But this morning was a little different because I had such a bad night's sleep the night before last. I don't know what happened. I just literally couldn't sleep past like, I think it was about like 3:30. And we had to wake up for a whole event day yesterday, which was for Elliot's work, which I actually went along to. We don't usually do like work event things together. It was for McLaren and Castor, and they kindly said that I could go along as well. And Ellie and I are really big Formula One fans, so we had the most insane day at the McLaren kind of headquarters, and basically just got to see where they make the cars, every single Formula One car that they have. Honestly, such a fangirl moment. Very cool. Really sadly, I actually brought my camera with the intention of vlogging, but you can actually take some photos in there, but not that many. And they're also pretty specific about like what's in the background. So I thought it was probably not the best idea to get my camera out and start talking to it. That was incredible, but a very long day. And we didn't get a very early night last night. So this morning, when Elliot got out of bed, I was like, you know, when your body is just like telling you that you need more sleep. So I went back to bed. So it feels like a little bit of a strange start because it's really light, whereas at the moment when we've been waking up, it's still been dark in the morning. But I started off my day with a coffee. This has just got oat milk. It's actually Oatly oat milk, which isn't the one that we usually have. We usually have Minor Figures at the moment, which is a really nice brand. We order it from Amazon because it's a lot cheaper buying it in packs of 6 from Amazon. A little tip, because I know a lot of people that just buy oat milk like by the carton at their local supermarket, and it's way more expensive than buying it in a 6-pack on Amazon. I think it's something like 6 cartons for £10, which is a lot cheaper than it is in the supermarkets. I'm gonna have this, get a few emails done, and then we're gonna make some breakfast. Okay, let's make some breakfast. I am thinking overnight oats this morning. I actually haven't had these for quite a while, and if I'm being honest, I don't always eat breakfast at all. I will often grab a little snack before I go to the gym, and then I'll just have a really big lunch instead. But I really fancy breakfast kind of oat sort of thing this morning. So that's what I'm gonna have. I've just been listening to a podcast in the background. I'm about 20 minutes in. It's the Jay Shetty podcast with Selena Gomez as a guest, and I thought I'd listen to it because I actually watched her documentary the other day and I thought it was fab. It was very sad. I thought it was really great. But this podcast I would highly recommend. I feel like it covers some really important topics, which I feel like Jay Shetty does. I've actually listened to quite a few of his podcasts before. So actually speaking to Ellie about this the other day. Sometimes I can find it a little bit draining on myself to listen to other people speak about, I guess, like negative mental health too often. I know that sounds really strange to say because I'm all for being really open about how you're feeling, but I think as someone who hasn't had a great year, like mental health wise. I feel like sometimes I love to like absorb positivity to kind of bring more positivity into my life. So then sometimes hearing other people speak about their negative experiences can sometimes make me feel more like drained. I don't know if that sounds a bit strange, and I don't by any means mean like I never listen to things like that. I actually really often listen to podcasts and things about other people's mental health. But I've realised recently I kind of have a bit of a cap with it, and I don't want to overdo it in a way that is going to make me feel not as good, if that makes sense. Sorry, a little bit of a tangent there, but just some morning thoughts for you. So yeah, we're gonna make some overnight oats. I'm gonna weigh out the ingredients so that you guys can make this recipe if you want. To be honest, I feel like I've probably made, wow, the sun is shining bright this morning. I feel like I've probably made a really similar recipe on here before. Right, so we're starting off with oats, and I like to use porridge oats, not the really thick, really nice ones, basically. I don't like it to be too chewy, and what you'll notice is I'm making overnight oats, but on the day that I'm gonna eat them. I didn't think that you could do this, and I tried it out once because I was like, oh, that's what I really want for breakfast. I'll just leave it in the fridge for an hour, and after an hour they were absolutely fine to eat. To be honest, you can eat them after about 10 minutes, but only with those kind of oats. I feel like if you were to use the big rolled oats, I think they're called, I am not sure if it would work so well. So I'm gonna do like 30 grams of these, a teaspoon of chia seeds. Do you know what, usually in my fridge I would have the 0%, I think you pronounce the brand like Faya or something. It actually says it on the tub, but it's spelled phage, the phage 0% Greek yogurt. We always usually have that in the fridge, but we don't today. So I'm just gonna use this basically like a low-fat natural yogurt, but Greek yogurt has my heart. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball this and then tell you the measurements. So gonna do about 40 grams, oh no, 50 grams of yogurt, a little squeeze of peanut butter. If you haven't tried the squeezy peanut butter yet, go and try it because it's absolutely just a complete game changer. Just makes putting peanut butter in things so much easier. This one's kind of on its last legs though, so I might need to use the jar of it. Right, that's about 15 grams of peanut butter. A teaspoon of something sweet, so I'm gonna do maple syrup today. And then I just mix that together, and then if it isn't quite the right consistency, I will add water. And usually basically every time I add water to it. Right, that is coming together really nicely. So I like mine quite thick, but I know some people like their oats quite runny. But I like it to like sit on the spoon well, that kind of texture. And it thickens up when it's in the fridge. So you've got to remember that. Right, so that is going in the fridge. I'll probably put it in for do you know what? I'm actually so hungry that give it 20 minutes. Give it 20 minutes at least. And then we'll add some toppings and eat. Right, we have a nice chilled overnight oats that we made on the same day of eating. And I'm just gonna top them with, I think, some nuts. Walnuts, that's what I was looking for. Okay, so we're gonna top them with some walnuts and also with some, oh my gosh, sorry, I just nearly completely crushed that loaf of bread. And also with some frozen blueberries, because I know I've got some in the freezer. Also, just for aesthetic purposes, I'm gonna be adding this to a bowl, but I would happily eat it out of a jar. In fact, if you are making this recipe to take to uni or work or whatever, I would just obviously take it in something like a jar anyway. But yeah, just a few frozen blueberries, which, by the way, are a lot cheaper than buying fresh blueberries. And then just some walnuts, which are probably my favorite nut. And then if you want a bit of extra sweetness, you could add a little more like maple syrup or something on top, which I might do today just because I'm really in the mood for sweet food today, which really doesn't happen to me very often. A little extra maple syrup. And look at that for a super delicious breakfast. Do you know what? I struggle so much to last more than like a few hours with my hair down, and even that I feel like it's a struggle. I just play with it all the time. But it's lunchtime and I've just realised that the thing that I really want for lunch will probably come as no surprise because I think I've made it like twice on here before, but I just want to be realistic about what I'm eating today, and I don't want to make anything especially for, you know, just so that I feel like I'm mixing up a bit. So yeah, what I was thinking was the salmon bowl, basically, that I've made a few times. But I prepped salmon on Sunday evening, I think it was. So I actually have salmon fillets. And then day before yesterday, I had something with rice. So I also have rice left over because I'll often try and, well, at the moment, I will often try and make like a double portion of something if I know that I'm not gonna have as much time the next day, or just generally to save time. So yeah, salmon and then a bit of rice. Do you know what? Having a microwave, I've realised, is actually the best thing. And I quite literally don't know how we lived without a microwave for like 6 months. I've just realised you can't actually see me there, hang on. Yeah, it's made me realise how many times in a week I wish that I had a microwave. These kind of things, I would just have to heat it in a pan every time, and I just found it to be such a pain. So salmon and rice, I'm just gonna heat that up a little bit and then add the toppings. Right, salmon has been heated through. Now I'm just gonna add a few little bits to it. So one of the things that I like to add is spring onion. God, I really need to get a sharpener for these knives because they are going a little bit blunt. But to be fair, the knives that we have, just IKEA knives, we got a big set. Well, actually, Elliot got a set when he moved into his apartment by himself in London. He had like a year before we moved in together where he lived by himself in the same like development that we lived in. And we bought those knives and they are still pretty sharp. Just there are two that are like a little too blunt, which are the smaller ones, which seem to be the ones that we use more regularly. And then I'm also just gonna have cucumber with it because I just love the freshness of cucumber with like salty flavors. So I just do some kind of sticks of that. And I don't know if this sounds weird, but I just don't really mind if it absorbs like a bit of soy sauce because I feel like it's actually quite nice in the cucumber. Similar to, not that I've made it, you know that salad that went viral on TikTok, that like the cucumber salad that you can like pull apart? Actually really similar to that. Just mentioning TikTok, by the way, I have just started TikTok. And if you want to follow me on there, I would like really appreciate your support. I feel like I've got no idea what I'm doing. So yeah, I would really appreciate the extra support over on that platform. I feel like I'm a chatty person, not a quick like, oh my God, this is my meal kind of person. So it's not a place that I feel like super comfortable or like confident, I guess, in terms of social media. I feel like YouTube is like the place where I feel like I can connect with you guys the easiest. But yeah, if you are a TikTok user, please go and follow me on that. It's just, my username's annieobfitness with 2 W's at the end. And I'll try and link it below if I remember. So just gonna add my go-to sauces, which are sriracha, no surprise there, and some soy sauce. You know, I bought this soy sauce from one of our local shops, actually where our post office is. And it's a dark soy sauce, which I feel like I can never usually get hold of like a good quality dark soy sauce in the supermarket. But you just need the tiniest bit because it's actually got like a ton more flavor and it's just a lot thicker. So I feel like it's not as like watered down. I don't know if that's actually what the difference between normal soy sauce and dark soy sauce is, like how watered down it is. But it kind of just tastes like it's like concentrated soy sauce. Then I'm gonna add some kimchi, which you've seen me have like 1,000 times now, but I just love it. And I love that it's good for your gut health as well. Get my spring onion on there. And actually, just because I really, really need to use it up, I'm gonna put the rest, well, not the rest off, because I've actually still got quite a bit in there, but some of the bits from the chili oil, because there's not really any chili oil left in the pots, but just like the crunchy bits. That I could just eat a spoonful of. It tastes so, so good. Just the most divine lunch, which I seriously look forward to eating. So I've just come out on a little walk because I realised I'm not actually gonna get to the gym today, which is annoying because I didn't go yesterday either and I'd been in such a good routine. But our gym, if you go past about 5 o'clock, is like unbearably busy, just so busy. It's not pleasant at all. So I've just been doing a little walk around our area basically and tried to do like a 40-minute one, call some family at the same time. But I'm just about to eat this little protein bar. Do you know what? This feels quite like the Misfits protein bars, but a bit thinner, and I think that makes sense. I think it actually is like a slightly smaller protein bar, but it's a 10 gram of protein peanut one, and the brand is UB bar. So I'm gonna tuck into this on my way around and then go back and probably have another snack before dinner because I am seriously hungry. We're back in the kitchen for what feels like the millionth time today. I have just washed and got myself some raspberries, which I'm gonna snack on. I've had to put them in this little pot because if I eat them straight out the punnet, I just end up eating the entire punnet, and the point is like, I have them over a few days. But dinner, let me just put you down first. So I was just looking through the cupboard and I hadn't like got a plan for what I wanted to have for dinner tonight, and quite often like during the day I'll be like, oh, I know I'm making this for dinner. But what I did see that I bought at the weekend is some halloumi, and I thought I really want some halloumi. So I'm gonna actually make tonight something like super easy, but a Nando's inspired wrap. And I'm gonna use black beans, which I know I'm gonna regret later because I think I've told you guys before, I really struggle with like chickpeas, beans and things. I just get so bloated from them. They just don't react that well with me. But I'm gonna have black beans because I really love them. And I'm gonna cook them in some of the Nando's rub. You can pick this up from most supermarkets, but Elliot and I just on the odd occasion will make like a homemade Nando's. So I'm gonna do black beans in the Nando's seasoning, some halloumi, and then we actually have Nando's sauces as well. So we've got like the chili jam and the Peronaise, and I'm gonna air fry it so it's like a crispy wrap. I feel like that's gonna be seriously good. When I was doing the wraps, I only had small wraps left over from the other day, so I've done 2, and they don't look, this, to be honest, this doesn't look particularly amazing, but I know it's going to taste so good. This is one of our like go-to, just really simple, easy recipes when you can't really be bothered to cook, and that's exactly how I'm feeling this evening. Right, popcorn, in my opinion, the most underrated snack, so I'm going to be having a bowl of that. To be honest, I'll probably give Elliot like a good amount of it. We've been a bit obsessed with popcorn recently. This is the popcorn, salted popcorn, which is really good. And I'm also gonna have one of these little teeny chocolate buttons because we have just been having chocolate in the evening for the last few weeks, and we bought this little like multi-pack full of mini ones in our Sainsbury's order, and they've been great, just really hits the spot. This is gonna be my setup for the rest of the evening. with snacks, and I'm gonna sit and watch probably a little bit of YouTube and just chill out. I'm gonna sign the video off here, guys, but thank you so much for watching. As always, I hope you've enjoyed a little slightly different like what I eat in a day video. Let me know if you want to see more of these as well, and I will see you in Sunday's video. Bye.